Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs Podcast, presented by Toyota and Bet365. Blown out by the Bay. The Cubs get blasted by the Giants. Who are we going to blame on this show? Will it be Kayak Dave? Will it be a bad lineup? Will it be brutal defense? Stick around and find out. We're up next. Hey Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs Podcast, driven by Toyota. Let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use code CHGO365 at signup. 12-3 Giants, back-to-back losses to San Francisco. They even wore different uniforms tonight. We had kayak reports upon kayak reports, and they still couldn't get it done by the Bay. A rough night for your Chicago Cubs. Luke Stuckmeyer, Justin Roman, and Joey Christopoulos, with Sarah running the ones and twos back home. Hey, before we get started on this, want to tell everybody about the Die Hard deal that's going on right now, because this is for all of you, Cubs fans, Bears fans, whoever you might be a fan of. We've always had the Die Hard deal, but right now we have one that is spectacular. You can get a great deal for $59 to join if you haven't joined before. By the way, if you're a diehard and you want to upgrade to the new tailgate tier, that's what we're talking about. You get a prorated price. This new tailgate tier is going on for $89, limited time. It's all the perks of being a diehard, including the free t-shirt and access to Discord and discounts to other merch and events and yada, yada, yada. But it also includes 2 free tailgate passes to one of our Bears tailgates this season. And that's $119 for year 2 when it would renew. But that's pretty great. $89, and it gets you and a friend into one of our tailgates. Go to allchgo.com for the latest information on that. We'll tell you about it. If you didn't hear all of it, we'll give it to you again later in the show, because people have been loving it and signing up, and I don't blame them, because the tailgates are a lot of fun. What was not fun, fellas, was this game. Not fun, Justin. When I went to watch this game, I know you were excited. I saw you were eating Suzuki s'mores at home, trying to spark the offense. It did not work for Seiya or the offense.
No, and what's so frustrating is that the Brewers game ended before our game ended. So you knew you could pick up a game here. And it's just, again, I will say Nico Hoerner is awesome. And I love Nico Hoerner. I think he's so good in the clutch. For a while, I thought, oh man, his home run put us ahead. I thought we're going to be good. Turned out to be a footnote in a horrible lopsided score. Our offense stalled not once, but twice with the bases loaded. It was not a good game all the way through, minus Nico's bomb. Horrible game.
Yeah, flush the rest of it, Joey. I agree. The Nico Hoerner homer was his 5th of the season, but other than that, there were just very few signs of life other than bloopers that were being played around Major League Baseball from the Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into the details of it, and come on in for the non-billable hours of the therapy session, because that was a tough one tonight. And I'll start it in the broad sense of, in a long Major League Baseball season, there are going to be some nights where it simply isn't your night. I think we can easily categorize this as not the Chicago Cubs night, even to the point where it felt like you're at the bar with your buddy and he just got into a bar fight and he got his ass kicked, and he comes over and he's like, how did I do? And we're like, let's just call you an Uber, buddy. Let's call this game here as quick as we possibly can. But no, Justin, you hit on it too. Early on in the game, they only had 4 players left on base all game, but those 4 players were at second and third base with less than 2 outs, and 2 double plays killed what could have been a fun, productive offensive night for the Chicago Cubs, Luke. And then, of course, Colin Rea got beat around by left-handed hitting again. Rafael Devers had a great night to play. Good offensive player. And now the Chicago Cubs got to try and avoid being swept in a 3-game series for the first time this season tomorrow.
Yeah, Devers, I feel like that one's on me for last night saying I'm glad the Cubs didn't trade for this guy. He's a loafer. And I went on and on about how he's got talent and he will hit lots of home runs and be a good player. But I wouldn't want that contract for a loafer. Now, he did continue that by jogging around the bases and almost getting thrown out at third so badly that JD's like, is he hurt? Like, what's going on? Does he have a pebble in his shoe? How bad is this guy running? And by the way, I don't believe that he's hurt. I believe he's just that much of a loafer because when he hit the second home run, he was jogging around the bases without any sign of a limp or any kind of pebble in the shoe unless he went back to the dugout and took it out. I would still say the guy's a loafer, but he hit 2 home runs and a double tonight, and he had like 5 RBI. So, I mean...
Yeah. And also, too, like, it's amazing what a great, because he is a great, great hitter. He really, really is. Yeah. But it's amazing the stat of when the Giants traded for him, how horrible they've been as a team since he's been on their team. Like, it goes back to, like, Boston was a mess for him. Is this dude kind of a cancer in the clubhouse? I don't know. I'm not there, but it is crazy. The Giants were actually doing pretty well, and they traded for Devers, who's a great hitter, and they've been horrible, well, almost horrible ever since.
Yeah, I mean, they have actually fallen apart except for this series right here. They're right. Basically totally out of it. Listen, I knew this game was trouble when I saw the lineup. Mm-hmm. And I'm not the lineup guy. I'm not. Like, our chat and Cubs Twitter, if you wanted to put together a best of list, the lineup complaints would be number 1 and top of the list every single night because it doesn't matter what the lineup is. Somebody's always going to complain about it. Right. I understand that. Craig Counsell knows way more about baseball than I will ever know. But when I look at it and I see Turner and Kelly right in the heart of the lineup and Suzuki above them, 3, 4, 5, I look at it and say, man, Suzuki's struggling. Man, Turner, really? Okay. I understand, lefty, and then you think, boy, I don't know about this matchup. I don't think it's good. Carson Kelly, he hasn't done much. I saw our guy Brendan Miller talking about what he has done recently, and it's pedestrian at best. And then when the first inning happened and it was bases loaded and they couldn't score a run, and that was the one with Kelly, the double play, right?
Yep.
Had Nico not put them up 3-1 with a homer. Had I missed that, if I'd gone to the pantry and gotten chips and missed that, I would have known this game was a loss all along. That's how I felt about the lineup tonight.
And to piggyback that, let's keep going about second time bases were loaded, double play. Who hit that? Justin Turner. So you had your 4th and 5th batters kill 2 potential rallies, and we can argue again, should they be 4 and 5? I would argue no. Very funny comment right there from OK. Turner and Kelly should be your 10th and 11th hitters. That's pretty funny, actually.
Little League style.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, it is, Joey. It was tough to watch. 3, 4, 5 were 0 for 8, right? And Tucker, until he got his hit, was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and 2 innings. So you were just struggling all over the lineup other than Nico Hoerner tonight.
So the part that I'm having a hard time wrestling with, and I think this is a fun, maybe philosophical debate of we all know why Justin Turner was in the lineup and maybe why Willie Castro got the start tonight, because there was a left-hander on the mound and they're right-handed hitters. But from my vantage point, the pitcher tonight, Wisenhunt, came into this game. In his first 4 starts, he gave up 5 home runs. And in 18 innings pitched, he had 9 walks. So the MO on this young pitcher is that he'll put guys on base with the base on ball, and he'll give up a dinger here and there. So I also saw that this pitcher, Wisenhunt, was mostly fastball changeup type guy. It didn't really seem like he did a lot of spin up there. In my opinion, Justin Turner, a great player for many, many years. At this point in his career, I don't think he can catch up to the fastball anymore and square it up the way that I think old Justin Turner used to be able to. And Carson Kelly, in my opinion, it was nice to see him hit a fastball off of Verlander last night for an RBI single. For the most part, he's ground ball, pop up to second kind of guy when we're talking about fastball. So philosophically, left-hander, right-hander, I get it, but I could have maybe used, I'm going to say the guy, I could have maybe seen Owen Casey up against a fastball changeup hitter tonight because we got the walks. And Luke, last night, what were we talking about on the show? We were talking about power. The sun was coming up, and we were talking about, the Chicago Cubs need more home runs. And I didn't think the power source would be tonight, Nico Hoerner. Unfortunately, we got those based on balls, but we really needed that big hit tonight. And Justin Turner, Carson Kelly weren't able to deliver, among others. And I just wonder, Justin, like a lefty versus a lefty, just put them up there and see if you can get a pop, get some sort of jolt in there. That's the philosophical argument I'm dealing with right now.
Well, I mean, you're letting Kyle Tucker and PCA bat lefty on lefty, right? So if you're going to be true, you're not being totally true, right? So I would argue, I'd rather have Michael Busch take 100% of the at bats in the starting role than Justin Turner. Like you said, Owen Casey, you throw him in there as well, but. Council's kind of proven over and over that he plays those matchups, but it is funny because he doesn't sit all lefties. Again, Tucker, PCA, they're out there batting lefty on lefty, but Michael Busch is riding the pine.
I saw somebody in Twitter saying this, and it was the exact thing I was thinking when I read it, and I wish I'd have looked at who it was, but it's true. If this is what it's going to look like in the playoffs against a left-handed pitcher,
It can't.
You might as well just bail on it right now. If this is what your lineup's going to look like, if you're going to say Suzuki and you're going to have Carson Kelly batting cleanup and Justin Turner in there, if that's your 3, 4, 5, forget it. They're not going to win a playoff game with that lineup. Can you imagine putting that lineup against like a really good left-hander? They're going nowhere.
You're not sitting Michael Busch in a playoff game, right?
No, you can't.
I would all agree
not.
on that? Yeah,
and I know
not,
he's
can we
been
get him
struggling.
some at bats? Yeah, can we get some at bats against some left-handed pitching then? If we're going to play for that kind of scenario,
right, exactly. I would imagine that devil's advocate would be that Council's sitting those guys now, lefty on lefty, but also more of a resting. If it's postseason, your best guys better play no matter what. And again, if I ever see Turner starting over Michael Busch in a playoff game, I'd be livid. Because it's obvious who's the better player right now, right?
Yeah, I don't want to see Justin Turner starting another game the rest of the season. They got 29 games left. They're 6.5 back. They're not going to win the division.
I'm with you finally. By the way,
I'm sticking with it. I know, Justin. I know.
I'm with you. No, I'm with you.
Back. You're back.
No. Here's the deal.
Back in reality.
When I heard the Brewers lost, we're watching the game. Brewers lost. Okay, cool. And then we just play dead, and I'm like, all right, 6.5 with like 30 something or whatever. Yeah, I'm willing to concede the division, but I will say optimistically, the wild card is still. We are still leaps and bounds ahead in the wild card, so it's not all like doom and gloom right now. The division looks to be probably over, but we are still a playoff team, which is why we got to write this offense. We got to write it.
And add a quick little sunshine to this too. The Rockies are coming up this weekend, so if you can possibly scratch a win out tomorrow. Look, what are we going to do if they lose 2 or 3 to the Rockies? We felt like tonight.
What are you going to do if they get swept by the Giants? That's the problem. Like the quote unquote easy part of the season has become the hard part of the season, and the hard part of the season was the easy part of the season. So I can't even say it's like, okay, sure, they should beat the Rockies. By the way, the Rockies just split with the Dodgers. So the Cubs aren't the only team going through it. The Dodgers just split with the Rockies.
And can I say this too? Don't forget, the Giants took 2 out of 3 against the Brewers. So it's not like they've been horrible. They beat the Brewers 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee over the weekend, and hopefully we salvage tomorrow where we can at least lose 2 out of 3 versus getting swept. I don't think we get swept. We have our ace on the mound, Shota, tomorrow, so I look forward to that. Hopefully they can salvage a game there. I heard Boog and JD talk about the fact that they think that Shota, his pitch arsenal will lend itself well to tomorrow being a fly ball pitcher. But ultimately, you got to avoid that sweep. But the Giants, haven't been great. But again, they did take 2 out of 3 against Milwaukee over the weekend. So maybe they're on to something right now. Who knows?
I know we got to get to break here in a second, Joey, but back to what you were saying earlier about getting the guys at bats, that's part of it for me. Like, I do think they're in the playoffs. I think unless something crazy happens, they're holding on to at least a wild card. So I do want to see Michael Busch, even though he's struggling, bat against some lefties, because when you get to the postseason, like you said, he's going to have to do it, and vice versa. So you can't just play that matchup and pick your poison there. Just put out the best lineup right now, and I don't believe that's always going the matchups.
And against Wisenhunt tonight probably would have been a good night to maybe tinker with that. I'm telling you, did he throw any spin up there tonight? It was 94 fastball inside, and then he was mixing in the change. That was it. And he was all around the zone. So tonight might have been a good night to try that out.
And your scouting report was spot on, by the way. Lots of walks, home runs given up. I mean, we had traffic. It's just, unfortunately, our 4 and 5 hitter, they both killed multiple rallies with the bases loaded, but one out.
And Nico's home run was a no-doubter. All right, we're going to talk more about it. We'll blame some more people coming up after a quick break. But first, Joey, a word from our sponsors here at CHGO.
Hey, Cubs fans, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. They also have, this thing called the NFL season coming up, and Bet365 is a football early payout. It is if your team goes up by 17 points, you get an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. You're also MLB early payout winner if your team goes up, or either team goes up 5 runs at any point. Instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections. Would have worked for the Giants tonight. So here's what you got to do. Head on over. Use code CHGO365 and deposit $5. You can get up to $200 in bonus bets. You must be 21 plus or older. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only.
At Toyota's national sales event, they've got a long lineup of vehicles for summer fun. 4Runner, an off-road icon. Tundra hauls it all with its twin-turbo engine. And Tacoma takes adventure straight to the top. Want to ride with sizzling hot style and efficiency? The all-hybrid Camry is revving and ready to ride. Visit your local Chicagoland Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Top of the show, we told you about the Die Hard deal. Here it is again if you didn't write it down. We have tiers to this thing now, okay? You're not just a Die Hard. I used to say sickos, but I'll go with Die Hard if that's what I want to call it. We have tiers to it now. There's the base tier. Limited time offer right now, $59 to join. Normally that's $70. Now we've got the new tailgate deal going. That's the tailgate tier, $89. Limited time right now before the season. Get 2 free tickets to a tailgate of one of our Bears tailgates that season. That's worth it right there. You also get the free shirt and all the benefits that come with being a diehard. Year 2 would be $119 for this same deal. Current diehards can upgrade to the tailgate tier at a prorated price. Go to allchgo.com for the latest information. All right, Cubs lose 12-3. This was a game that you can take and flush right into McCovey Cove. There was so much that was to dislike about this game other than Nico Hoerner's home run, right? The rest of it. I'll just say this. We'll get to the kayak stuff because Kayak Dave gets a little blame too.
Good.
But
I can't wait.
let me tell you, the defense was atrocious in this game. Like yesterday's game, Joey, when we talked about it last night, we were saying, okay, they lost, but you lose games. And at least they did a lot of things great outside of winning, right? Like they just didn't score enough, but they did a lot of things really well. This game, holy cow. I've never seen a throw from the outfield hit the guy in the head at first base.
My gosh.
What the heck was that?
So to throw some flowers out, Matt Shaw again, every single night. Great at third base.
Stud.
I thought Justin Turner defensively had a good night too as well at first base. Again, his bat is unusable in my opinion, especially hitting cleanup. Yeah, Willie Castro misplayed a ball tonight. Pete Crow-Armstrong, look, if PCA puts just a decent throw on it as Rafael Devers is lumbering all the way to third base, he gets him. That was a softball style non-slide, right? Let's just get in there and hope that I don't tear up my knees. And then Justin, break it down for us. I've never seen that either. When it deflects off the back of the head and then still manages to go forward.
It was so weird.
Projectiled over everyone. It was like angels in the outfield kind of stuff.
So we've talked about Kyle Tucker and maybe his lackluster defense. Like he was promised to me and Luke, we talked about before, as a Gold Glove right fielder coming to the Cubs. And I think, we saw him be an offensive beast for a while early on in the season. He's been better as of late. Defense has never really been there for me. But so a little looping base hit. He jogs over there and then throws it in, and it hits the back of Matt Chapman's helmet. But you're right, it goes forward. and then like nobody gets it, another run scores. Now, I didn't really zoom in, zoom out, rewind, fast forward, but I played first base my whole life. I am wondering, when the throw's coming in, what Justin Turner was doing at that point. Because is there any way he could have, got in front of that ball and cut it off? I don't know. Again, I didn't zoom in and out, but as a first baseman, I would think where the throw is going. And did he just stop it and just let it hit Matt Chapman?
It didn't just go forward. It went all the way past home plate. Like it ricocheted off his helmet like a golf ball on a cart path. And then it bounced and it bounced and it bounced. And it was like, then when they showed the replay, that's when I would say, listen, I don't know if he makes the catch anyway. Maybe PCA makes that catch or a great right fielder, which, like Justin said, that's what I thought we were getting, but we're kind of getting a right fielder. And it was a little bit of a loopy route over there, and he kind of jogged over to, and then he got it, and he just kind of patted it, and it was a lackluster throw. There's no question that the throw from Tucker was lacking in concentration. I'm not saying that every throw from the outfield coming in has to be like a BB going to the cutoff man and getting it back in, but I'd like to see it be a little bit better than that was. And then when you watched it on replay, it looked even worse. And so the Cubs did themselves no favors. I mean, you're right. They should have had Devers dead to rights at third. I mean, the guy looked like me rounding second base in a softball game.
I couldn't believe that he had the gall to try and go from first to third on that one. I think PCA was also taken by surprise.
He was.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, Luke, on the throw, too, because, Justin, I think you're onto something where it felt like – so from that angle, clearly it is in line with him trying to throw home, but it didn't have a lot of what we call mustard on it. So maybe that is Justin Tucker's job to cut it off. But even on that replay, Chapman, Tucker, and the umpire were all kind of like squished together, and he threw into a pack of people. And, of course, it hits right off the back of Matt Chapman's head. He has no idea what's going on.
But the crazy part is, again, the first baseman, it is your job to cut that ball off. So I wish I would have seen it better, but I don't know what Turner was doing. They were lumped together, but when he saw the ball coming in, where was the attempt to maybe catch it versus letting it hit this guy's helmet? And then you glossed over earlier Willie Castro misplaying a ball in left field. That was horrible. That was a horrible route that Castro took in left field. I mean, it was just, it's almost like, Luke, last time I was on the show with you, Castro made a phenomenal throw home from right field, and I give him mad props for that. It was an amazing throw last week. This was just as bad in the opposite direction. He took a horrible route. He looked like, I played first base my whole life. He looked like me playing in the outfield because I'm not comfortable out there. That's what he looked like playing in the outfield. Just a bad route, a bad everything. And don't get it twisted. That started it was a clean inning, I believe, at that point. So it started kind of like the downfall of that inning by him misplaying that ball.
Yeah, I already have the YouTube short idea that we should do for this thing. I mean, this was the Curb Your Enthusiasm game. That's how bad things were going. Like the outfielder's running in, it's flying over his head. The other guy's taking the wrong route, and he's hitting somebody in the head with the ball. We're dropping the ball at third base. Like all you had to, after each one, you could cue the bump, 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 from Curb, and that's what it was like. It was just comical. Yeah. I had to laugh at it. It was so sad that I had to laugh at it tonight. And it wasn't the only thing. Like we said earlier, Colin Rea didn't have it, but the Cubs didn't do him any favors in the field either. And then a couple of the hits were just like, the one bloop fell in, and I felt bad for him because if you get the runner at third, that bloop doesn't even matter, right? Because it would have been the third out. So if Devers is out at third, you're out at the inning. Yeah. And then that just kind of spiraled from there. And it was one of those nights. And, yeah, I see Becky in the chat says Boyd didn't have it either. He had 2 nights in a row. Boyd was bad. Boyd probably deserved better than what his line was after the game. Like, I feel like his stuff was better than that. But was it, epic, Matthew Boyd? No.
But no, I sure
hope Shota's up to the challenge.
I feel like Colin Rea also deserved better as well, because we just talked about a million things that went wrong that weren't his fault. Now, he did not have a great outing. I'm not defending him, saying he's our number one starter in the postseason, but he definitely, I think, deserved better than what his line will ultimately show in the box score.
Well, and unfortunately tonight for Colin Rea, and look, maybe this is a good thing that, if you're going to play this type of game, you might as well do it with your 5th starter. Maybe we'll just throw that out there to maybe good vibes on that. The issue with Colin Rea is I agree with you guys tonight. that a lot of it was dink and dunk and bloop and stuff like that. But as the kids say, Colin Rea's toxic trait is pitching to left-handed hitters this year. Left-handed hitters hitting 290 against him, 1.57 WHIP, 14 of his 20 home runs given up have been to left-handed hitters. And unfortunately tonight, that Rafael Devers, their best hitter, their slugger, had an absolutely monster evening. 2 home runs, 1 off Colin Rea, another double. And that was really kind of what broke the floodgates open. And that's kind of the margin, a little bit of what we're talking about, where the Cubs had those same kind of opportunities. Walks and bloop hits are a similar kind of species of offensive production, but Rafael Devers was able to get the ball in the air, and they were able to put runs on the board that way. And unfortunately with Colin Rea, when it comes to left-handed hitting, it's plagued him all season long, and I think that's what's probably held him back and maybe it's kept him more in the middle, more as an average starter than maybe that above-average starter that maybe he was hoping for this year.
And he was great in the first half of the season. I mean, I think we got more than we could ever bargain for out of Colin Rea that first half of the season, right? I mean, but now you're kind of seeing exactly who he is. He's not going to be in your playoff rotation, and you're hoping to get a decent start out of him. From a pitching standpoint, obviously, it's not good news about Taillon going to the IL. Don't love that either, because it's not like we're rich in pitching right now. We're already kind of Boyd has pitched more innings than he ever has in his life. Horton has pitched more innings than he ever has. So losing Taillon is like when we just kind of got him back, that stinks. And then, Ray throws up kind of a stinker as well. It's, thank God we have Schroeder tomorrow, because we need our ace to pitch like our ace tomorrow and really kind of, get us back and as we roll into Colorado.
So, I mean, if you're putting blame on this, for this game, the way it went tonight, 12-3 to the Giants, number one, top of the list, is the crazy lineup. Like, for me, it's the lineup. I don't complain about the lineup, but when you put that 3-4-5 out there, you're not seriously going after a win. I don't believe it.
And Luke,
I just don't believe it.
I think you're right. That's number one, because 2 major points of the game happened when your Carson Kelly came up and Justin Turner came up. So any other different lineup, maybe you get somebody that comes through, a Michael Busch or whatever, comes through in that situation. And, you never know how the game goes in that first inning when we got this kid on the ropes. If we put up a 3 spot, you never know how the game goes from that point on. We will never know. But I agree with you, Luke. Number one is lineup construction today.
Number 2 is defense. And number 3, Joey, was Kayak Dave. If we have one more kayak report during this game, I saw John Greenberg say, I love the little baseball cut-ins they're doing during this kayak game.
That was funny.
That is how it felt sometimes. It was like, I know it started going badly, but it was like, okay, just send poor Taylor back off the water. Just tell her to go on in. She can get out of the kayak now. This game's going nowhere, and so are the kayak reports.
Look, I'm all for Marquee, and obviously they're gonna. They have a job to entertain us.
It was
as well
fun,
as
yeah,
also
agreed.
It was fun, and they had some stuff cooked up tonight, Luke.
But then
they had mozzarella sticks. They had Taylor McGregor, and then a guy wearing a Dave shirt. And I'm just like, hey, is that Dave? Maybe
the bar in
Dave.
Iowa.
Yeah, and they're taking bets in the production room. Please get a splash hit. Please get a splash hit. All this stuff was leading up to it, and they just had such a dud of a game. I want to get back to Kayak Dave, but if I can just get back to the lineup just really, really, really quickly.
Okay, fine.
I mean, can we once and for all have this conversation about what Carson Kelly did the first few months of the season was a great storyline.
Yeah.
Hometown kid makes good, and put together an all-star first half. No denying that. But as you mentioned, Luke, he hits cleanup way too often. He hits fifth way too often. And I think it's time. I just pray that Craig Counsell can just move him into that 7 or 8 hole, because at the very least, he's still a guy that's going to get on base 36, 37% of the time. So why not get in base in front of a guy like Dansby Swanson, who kind of grips it and rips it and maybe can pop one over the fence? Or get him in front of Matt Shaw, or heck, put Matt Shaw in front of Carson Kelly for a couple of games and see if we can get some action going on the base paths, and see if we can get Carson Kelly to maybe coax a walk, and then you got more traffic and you got some base runners on there. Carson Kelly has been a great veteran for this team, and I'm sure he's a leader in the clubhouse, but at some point, give up the ghost, Craig Counsell. It's time to just get him into that bottom third of the lineup and see if he can charge that section of the lineup instead of coming up in these huge situations. And again, the dude hits ground balls to short, and when it's a fastball, he pops it up to second base. That's the rut that he's stuck in right now. and I'm kind of over it.
Yeah.
He needs to just go down there, and we need to utilize him in a different way.
And it's not his fault. I'm not blaming Carson Kelly at all. Like you said, he's exceeded projections throughout this season, more than we expected. You see how much they missed Miguel Amaya and what that latest injury means to this offense as well. Let us know in the live YouTube chat here at the all-new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, how would you print out the lineup against the next lefty the Cubs face? Let us know, and we'll read some of those comments in just a minute. But first, a word from our sponsors. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving the Chicago area for more than 50 years. Now's the time to get your air conditioning or furnace checked out, and Four Seasons experts are ready to help you with their AC installation, maintenance, and repair. When it's hot and humid, by the way, hot day's still coming, you want to know your home's going to be cool and comfortable. Just because we sweat out the Cubs games every single night doesn't mean you need to be sweating in your home. Four Seasons expert technicians ensure you always receive reliable service. You can save up to $4,000 on new comfort systems with Four Seasons right now. New AC units from $39 a month and AC furnace combos from $57 a month. Call 866-4Seasons, your trusted local experts. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all your special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
Hey, Luke and Justin, new vehicles are in store at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and this is your chance to score a great deal with their Labor Day sales event. Hey, head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. Right now, get up to $15,000 off MSRP or get 0% financing for 72 months on the new 2025 Jeep Wagoneer. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. The team at Ray CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. And with Ray's price promise, you can shop confidently with no add-ons or hidden fees ever. The price you see is the price you pay. Do not miss out on their Labor Day sales event for huge savings on the Jeep Wagoneer, as they've been serving the community since 1963. For more information, visit Ray CDJR today or Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com.
12-3 Giants. Back-to-back losses to San Francisco. Tyler's in the live YouTube chat with a Toyota Super Chat and says, I want to know what you guys think of the lineup. Tyler, you haven't been watching. Have a spine and say your lineup for once. 1 through 9. Okay, Tyler, here this is all I'm saying. I like Nico leading off. If Hap ever gets back to doing what he can do, and what we expect him to finally do this season, it hasn't really happened. Hap is still my leadoff guy if he's playing well. But right now, I want Nico leading off. I don't care righty, lefty. I don't want Michael Busch leading off anymore. Michael Busch has gone into a massive slump since the All-Star break. Leading off is not helping him at all. And so I would slide Busch down the lineup. I would play him, however, over Justin Turner. That's one thing I know. And I would move Shaw up. I don't want Shaw batting 8th or 9th. I'd rather see him up higher than what he is. Other than that, you are what you are, right? Like, I agree. Turner should not have been batting 2nd through his entire slump. Now, 2 more strikeouts today. We'll see, will the real Kyle Tucker please stand up these last 29 games, right? Like, is it going to be the guy that was hot and hit 3 homers, or is it going to be the guy that struck out twice tonight and got a base hit? All I know is I'm done with Busch as the leadoff man. I'm done with Turner playing instead of Busch. And frankly, I want to see Owen Casey play for Seiya Suzuki and get Suzuki off for like 3 games now. Give him the same treatment that you just gave Kyle Tucker. Seiya's struggling mightily.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the same guy either. So it worked last year. Why not try it now? You got to fix this before the postseason gets here. I think you're still making the playoffs, but you got to fix the main guys on the team. Like, we talk about Carson Kelly and where he was batting today and Turner. They shouldn't even be there, right? You got to get guys healthy. You have to hope that somehow healthy at the plate, mentally, physically, and playing well. That means Tucker's got to be good. PCA's got to be good. Busch has to return to playing like Busch. And Seiya's got to hit like the guy that was leading the majors in RBI. And right now, you got a pretty roller coaster ride on all those guys. So I like Nico at the top. Nico and Shaw are been carrying the team offensively for a long time now.
Yeah, I was going to say I was kind of waiting, but some people have put in the comments about Nico, and I'm with you. I think Nico should be our leadoff hitter against right-handers and left-handers. I think he's just the ultimate. He's the ultimate baller. He's a great hitter when it comes to runners in scoring position. He's fast, so if he gets on, he can steal bases for you. He's. I always tell my son's 11 years old. Watch Nico Hoerner play baseball. He plays baseball perfectly in every facet. And we've talked about, he's not a superstar, but man, if you had like 9 Nico Hoerners on your team, you'd have a pretty good team. And then Luke, when I said that, you said, well, if he had power, you'd have a superstar. Well, boom, today he crushed that ball. Hopefully it's the start of something good, right? But I really do think Nico Hoerner should be your leadoff hitter, and then everyone else falls where they fall. Now listen, Kyle Tucker, he's got to play every day. He had his break. He came back in Anaheim. He shows you again, why he's Kyle Tucker. Hasn't been good so far, but hopefully that's moving forward. Suzuki is a tough one for me because I also feel like you need Suzuki. So you want to give him 3 days off? Okay, fine. But, this dude, we all talked about, he was snubbed as not being named an all-star because he had such a great first half. So, ultimately we do need Suzuki to be Suzuki. You need Nico, Tucker, Suzuki, PCA, Michael Busch, and Dansby. You got those guys that got to be your guys, and then you can tinker with the Carson Kellys and whatever.
Hey Joey, let me ask you this then. So you have one game against the Giants, and then you have the 3 against the Rockies. What's the best way to fix Seiya Suzuki right now? Is it resting him for 3 games like you did a year ago, or is it letting him hit at Coors Field? Like should you delay that 3 games at this point? Should you? My feeling is they should have sat him against the Giants. That's who I would have sat him against.
Tonight would have been a good night to try and do that, right? You still could have played Ian Happ if you want to stick with your right-handed, left-handed lineup if you want to. I would hope that he's not in the lineup tomorrow if we are going to try and give him a blow. Logan Webb is their ace. Logan Webb has been a good pitcher the last several years. It's going to be a great pitching matchup. So if you want to, mess with his head a little bit more, maybe Logan Webb isn't the antidote here for exactly what we're trying to do. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I want him hitting in Coors Field, right? I want a couple fly balls that maybe he doesn't quite get all of, traveling 10 to 15 feet more than it normally would. So I do think that this could be an opportunity to get him out of it. But we just haven't really seen any signs recently. And I'll tell you this is my 1 through 9, and this is just assuming Seiya is okay and Craig Counsell is playing his best players all the time. I want Ian Happ at the back at the top of the lineup. It's time to do a little bit of a return to form in terms of this lineup from the beginning part of the year. I want Kyle Tucker hitting second. I actually want Michael Busch hitting third. Guy can get on base. I like his idea to maybe pop a home run every once in a while. And again, he's been hitting at the top of the lineup, so getting him more at bats is something that Craig likes to do. Seiya Suzuki is my 4 hitter. I'm hitting Nico Hoerner 5th. Best player with runners in scoring position this year. I want him with guys on base. I'm doing PCA 5th. I'm doing Nico Hoerner 6th. I still want him at the top there trying to drive in runs. At 7, I'm going Matt Shaw. 8, I'm going Carson Kelly. And then 9, I'm going Dansby Swanson. I think at the bottom of the lineup, I want those guys to just try and hunt some fastballs, try and hit the ball over the yard, or maybe try and get on base. With Seiya Suzuki, tonight would have been a good night to sit him. Tomorrow would be a good night to sit him. But I would try and play him this weekend at Coors Field and see, hope, pray, fingers crossed, you can get him out of it.
And I'll say it one more time, Justin. I am not a lineup guy. Like I just don't. Everybody likes to complain when the lineup comes out. I will just say that tonight when I looked at it, I thought, this isn't gonna go well. And now you got Logan Webb. He struck out 180 guys. He's got 180 strikeouts already this season. Like he's
really good.
He's really good. I'm not too sure it's gonna go real well tomorrow afternoon. But baseball's a funny sport.
It is, and it just is. You want to salvage the series somehow, and you have our ace. We have our ace going too, so that bodes well for us. But Coors Field could really be just what the doctor ordered for a lot of our guys. Kyle Tucker, getting back to who Kyle Tucker is, PCA, Suzuki. It is kind of coming at the right time. Now it's just up to the hitters to do their thing and let Coors Field do what it does. If you know what I'm saying.
Help us out. Help us out, Colorado.
Please. Now, do they still have like a water fountain out there in the outfield? Because we could probably get a reporter out there and put him in the water. And
Luke, are you ready?
Sorry, I wasn't going to do it.
A Speedo?
No, we're not going to do it. She's going to.
You and Dave hit the road into the water.
Me and Kayak Dave. That's the next thing I want to do for this place. I want to go out there and hang out with Kayak Dave for a day.
You know what I'll say about Kayak Dave just really quick is they said that he's got more splash hit home runs than Barry Bonds. Well, until Kayak Dave passes a steroid test, I'm not buying it.
Did you see the way he was paddling?
Yeah,
There's no way a human can paddle like that.
Unbelievable. Couldn't even get the hat on his head.
His body's recouping way too quickly.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, so we mentioned Taillon at the top of the show. That's bad news. I didn't like, Taylor interviewed Craig Counsell before the game yesterday, and he was like, well, we'll see. We had him throw today. And you could tell he wasn't thrilled with the way it was progressing, this groin injury, or whatever they're kind of calling it is the way Counsell said it. It's disappointing, obviously, because he has been pretty good this season when he's been healthy, and now to lose him. So now Assad is back, and Assad will get the start against the Rockies, but we'll see. Again, this is why. And not to beat a dead horse, this is why people were saying, go get a legit starter, right? Because of the trickle-down effect. Because we said, even before Taillon was coming back and didn't have this injury, or Assad, I said, how can you really bank on either of those guys? Like, they've been out so long that anything you get from them is icing on top, right? Okay, so Taillon's out again, and you hope Assad can be good, right? You hope he's the ass man and not Javier Assad. That's what you're hoping for. And so, man, it's against the Rockies, so I hope he's good. But it reminds you, like, once a week. Well, the rotation's been pretty good for the Cubs. Boy, I would love another arm in there because I don't love how many pitches they have left in some of these guys.
But Luke, we did go out and we got Michael Soroka. Oh wait,
I know.
Right.
Wait.
He got hurt. That's right. But it is kind of amazing when all these things have happened to our staff. I mean, the fact that like we're still standing, and by the way, still in really, really good shape in the wild card. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but like up 7 games, I want to say, in the wild card. Like we're firmly in that wild card scenario, even though Justin Steele was gone for the year, lost Shota for months. Taillon back on the IL. Soroka, our big, trade deadline acquisition. I mean, the fact that we've had this situation, and Matt Boyd and Cade Horton, super impressed by them. But in the back of our minds, we got to be a little worried about this is uncharted territory for them. Matt Boyd has not gone this deep in a season in years, and Cade Horton never. So, are we starting to see Matt Boyd? I think it's been back-to-back starts that hasn't been all-star Matt Boyd, but, I hope it's not some regression. And Cade Horton, he still looks like Cade Horton to me, but I hope he can go in October.
Yeah, when it comes to Matt Boyd, I feel like last night, and we've seen it a little bit, if he doesn't command his fastball and he can't use that to work off his other pitches, he can have some difficulty at time. I'm with you on trying to maintain the workload, and we have to push right now, and these are our horses, and we have to go. But it's a legitimate concern, and we are getting dangerously close to earmuffs, Luke. Trigger word: Ben Brown starts again. If we're not too careful here, and I hope hopefully Javier Assad can come in and shore it up, because I do like what I've seen from him so far. But again, I feel like I've said this a little bit before, but I'm just worried about Jameson Taillon being able to help us the rest of the way in general. I think he can come back and start and pitch. I'm just not banking on him being the Jameson Taillon that for a good 3-4 week stretch, maybe not an all-star, but fringe all-star type performance there. I mean, he had a really good stretch this year, but when we talk calf strain, I immediately think Achilles. And it's the leg that he's pushing off the mound with. And now we're talking about groin tightness or a groin issue. That's extension. And he's not a spring chicken. And when these things start to compound on your lower half, it just starts to have me worry a little bit that will he compensate in other ways? Will he compensate with the shoulder? Can he get himself right at the right time to be able to help the Chicago Cubs the way that he needs to? And I'm just starting to get a little bit more worried. Hopefully they're just backing off of him and he'll come back and maybe this is all behind him. But now 2 injuries over the last 6 weeks, both lower half. I'm concerned.
Boy, and with all these injuries and the way the season's gone, it also reminds you what a disappointing season this has been for Jordan Wicks, right? Like a former first-round pick that you maybe you hoped you saw something a couple years ago. He's been given the opportunity to try and take one of these starter roles, like even just the 4 or 5 spot, and he just hasn't been able to do it. And this year's just been basically completely lost. Think of how decimated this rotation has been at times, and they can't get him to grab the opportunity and run with it, right? Like, it's just, I feel bad for him, but I also feel bad for the Cubs because, man, they could really use that. I see Joe Smith saying, what happened to Wicks? Like, yeah, he hasn't been good.
Yeah, I got a buddy who always texts me because the Cubs grabbed Jordan Wicks right before Colson Montgomery from the White Sox. And when that happened, he was like, "Oh, it's a mistake." And I'm like, "Dude, shut up. You don't even know about this." But like now, the Colson's doing what he's doing in the White Sox, and every home run, he sends me the tweet or whatever. And I'm like, "Dude, okay." But you're right. I mean, Jordan Wicks, we thought could at least be a number 5 starter, a good number 5 starter in our rotation. And I mean, he hasn't been. But wasn't he good in Iowa? I thought I heard he was doing well in Iowa, and then we haven't given him a chance to start again, have we?
No, I mean he's gonna have to get some opportunity. Didn't he pitch last night and give up a home run?
I was gonna say even in mop-up time he hasn't been clean in his outings later in games. And
today too, yeah. Tonight too.
Yeah, and when you think about the player too, Luke, you're bringing up a great point that there has been opportunity for Jordan Wicks to carve out a role for himself on this team, and unfortunately that role went to Chris Flexen. Right, I mean that could have been Jordan Wicks as a bridge type guy and maybe a spot starter, maybe an opener. Unfortunately, what was he coming out of college? Right, he was a changeup guy, and his fastball rides at about 93, maybe 94 sometimes. It's just his stuff feels. I hate to be mean about it. His stuff feels a little 4A to me, and it has to come down to execution and a little bit more guile. And he's either nibbling too much or maybe he isn't able to attack the way that he wants to with his own because stuff just isn't quite there. But it is disappointing, right? We definitely had some high hopes from him, and he flashed a couple of times when we first brought him up, but clearly he isn't the answer right now. And unfortunately for him, too, he hasn't been able to seize opportunities that have been several throughout this Cubs season.
Right.
So far.
A few comments are saying that actually he was good in Iowa, but you're right. It has not translated this year to the big league ball club. So it's like, I'm glad you were good in Iowa, but when you get a chance in mop-up time, show us how good you are. And he hasn't done that.
No. Okay. Did you guys see the article? Joey showed me this. Did you see it, Justin? The article from Jesse Rogers about the Brewers. So now tonight, or this morning, as we now approach, we are into, I should say, Thursday. Happy morning, everyone.
Happy Thursday.
The show live.
Good morning, CHGO.
Yeah, is this the new morning show?
Yeah. What's up?
Should we have mugs? We should all have little mugs in our hand.
I have a World Series water glass.
We should call Pat
Taylor.
Tomasulo and see if he's up already, getting the show ready there for WGN.
My wife does mornings for Q101. She's getting up in a couple seconds. We can bring her in the show.
See, there it is. Have her jump on. Give us an update of some kind. Jesse Rogers talking about the Brewers and how they've done this with $115 million payroll and how they have, like the 23rd or 24th best payroll in baseball or highest payroll in baseball. So they're doing it on the cheap. And how do they do it? How do they have the best record in baseball? And he talks about the check game. Right, Joey? The check game, which I thought was a pretty fun. It kind of sums up small market baseball, and they've sort of embraced it even down to the players and the manager, right?
So, Justin, yeah, to kind of paraphrase what they're considering the check game is, it's a little bit of a kangaroo court.
Okay.
It is even referred to in the article as a version of a shame game.
Yeah, Brian Anderson said it's a shame game.
It swings both ways, Justin. So if you talk about an accolade that involves yourself, or if you talk about something that you did that brings it towards you, you get a check. If you mention something where you seemingly put the blame on another player or another situation, you get a check.
I've done that today.
The owner got a check because he wore Milwaukee Brewers gear off of a plane because it was advertising too much.
Wow.
They referred to themselves as a community college, and then of course they used the word organically a lot. And I have to be honest with you. I'm jealous. There's some jealousy going on because I feel myself like morphing into a troll as I'm reading this article about how they do everything right, and Pat Murphy's this old school crack the whip community college type guy, and I don't know. I'm curious what your thoughts are, Justin, on the check game, because I don't think this is going to last at all. This is such a short fuse little meaningless story to me.
You know, you brought up something to me that the Brewers they're doing everything right, you know, and it's so weird. It's a weird dynamic because, you know, we grabbed their manager, right? We grabbed their manager, Craig Counsell, to manage our Chicago Cubs with the bigger resources, the bigger money, the better fan base, all that stuff. And the past 2 years that we've had Counsell, what's happened? The Brewers have been ahead of us both years, and it looks like again this year. So, you know, I didn't read that article, but is it kind of like, you know, Joe Madden was kind of that quirky 2016 manager? Is that kind of what Pat Murphy's doing? Kind of a loose clubhouse, or is it a whole different vibe?
Quirky in a hard-nosed kind of way.
Okay, gotcha.
Aaron Savali in the article said sometimes you talk to him and Pat Murphy smiles and you don't know whether that's going to be a good smile or a bad smile. Like he's a hard-nosed guy to read. He's the dad that never told you he loves you. Is kind of what a lot of the article seems to be about.
He's respect 90 mixed with a little Bill Parcells, right? Like if you're talking about football coach, he's like a Bill Parcells in that he'll crack a couple jokes. But he's also very serious and wants things played the right way. Listen, they're waiting on their biggest check mark. They can get as many check marks as they want during the regular season, but they still haven't won anything.
Right.
So
and this started to crack a little bit too.
I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous of them because they've won nothing. They've won a couple divisions. Like that doesn't mean anything. But I do appreciate the way they go about their business, knowing that that's how the organization is run. And they're going to do it with a low budget, and they seem to always appear to be dead in the water, and then they come back and they're one of the better teams again. It doesn't translate to the postseason for whatever reason, or it hasn't so far. So that's the big check mark they're looking for. But when I was laughing reading the article, it was because of all the times I was thinking, wow, what if we put this to work at CHGO?
Finally, some accountability.
Right away, I'm in trouble. Because I like to call out that I predicted 83 wins 2 years in a row, and I predicted that Bellinger would sign on the 24th day in the 24th hour. Check. Nice. I was eating donuts. That's about me. Check. Look at Justin with the W flag. That's like the owner wearing the gear. Check. Joey, the only one without any check marks.
No, Justin, if you knew how many times I'm secretly eating Luke's salt and vinegar chips in the office.
Oh, that is a check. That
really?
is, boy, it's a big bowl.
That is
nice.
Check. They're too tasty, and I'm a guy on the go.
For the record, a little behind the scenes of my W flag. You know, I knew I was doing this podcast with you guys tonight, so I got my studio all set up and everything like that. And then we're starting to get crushed, and I'm like, should I take down the W flag because is it going to look weird that like we lost 12-3, but here's Roman with his W flag flying high by. I don't have an L flag, so I'm like, I'll leave it up. Whatever, it's our thing, right?
Cancel the fireworks. Cancel the fireworks.
Right.
I mean, I don't know the Brewer. I think it'd be fun for us. Will Purdue gets us some Garrett's popcorn like once a month.
I tasted it.
Bucket comes in.
Good
How
stuff.
about all the people that are putting their dirty hands in that can instead of like scooping it out with a cup or something onto a plate, just milling their dirty hands. I've seen it. I've seen Peck, check mark. I've seen Carmen, check mark. Eating popcorn with their filthy hands up in there. We got a lot of guys that deserve check marks.
All three of us were doing that when he had some kind of candy popcorn that he had.
That's what it was. It was the vanilla cookie popcorn. I may have stuck my hand in there
we
too.
We all did.
We were all scooping. We all have checks.
I mean, I've got a lot of check marks. There's no question about that.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, they're not catching the Brewers.
No, I agree with you.
I don't believe that the Brewers are the team that's going to come out of the National League yet. I really don't, but I give them credit for what they do during the regular season. We'll
so what I was going to say earlier is that, you know, they lost 2 or 3 to the Giants in Milwaukee, and then I know that they won 2 out of 3 against Arizona, but don't forget their bullpen imploded back-to-back games. I mean, they should have really blown out the Diamondbacks, and then they gave up like 6 spots and 5 spots and everything, and now they lost their closer as well. So I think they're starting to crack a little bit as well. Yes, I don't think we're catching them for the division, but I would not be scared facing them in a playoff series.
I wouldn't either. I mean, they should have lost 4 out of 5 to the Cubs.
Yeah,
if the
absolutely.
Cubs hadn't mailed in a lineup in the last game.
Speaking of lineup construction, Jesus.
What do you think? Will Shota be the difference tomorrow in the final game of this series? Because I don't even know if these are must-win games anymore. It's just like you need to play decent baseball going down the stretch. I feel like the way you're watching it now is different than it was during the Brewers series, right? Like if there was any hope of catching Milwaukee, that was it.
Yeah.
It was back like you got to win 5 or you got to at least win 4, and then you have to continue it. And even that was a long shot. I don't know. It's not a must-win game tomorrow. I just want to see them start to hit. It's not about Shota for me. Like it's Shota versus Webb, but for me, the only thing to really watch right now is, are the Cubs cleaning things up? They can't play defense like they played today. They need to have the pitching continue to do what it's doing. Really, their starting rotation, as banged up as they've been, has been great. It's all about the offense. It's 29 games now about the offense for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, right? Yeah, I was gonna say, in terms of like Shota tomorrow being the difference maker, I have to go with no, Luke, because I think it's the offense. I think Shota could twirl a gem and we could lose 2-1 just as easily, and Shota continues to be at the top of his game moving forward. Yeah, look, the Chicago Cubs are in good shape. I mean, I know we're in it on the daily, and that's what we love about being Cubs fans. You know, we die with every loss. We streak down the streets with every single win, and I get it. The one thing on a more macro level, because we're talking about a lot of details about this offense and trying to get them right, whether it's lineup construction, trying to get Seiya going, all these different factors and components. What I have really enjoyed about this Cubs team this year is that if this Cubs team is true to form of this season, they will find a way to pick up a win tomorrow and not get swept. Yeah. And there is a possibility where if they take 2 out of 3 from Colorado, they can come back, then come off this 6-game little swing here this week, go 3-3 or even possibly 4-2. That's been the hallmark of the Chicago Cubs season. Are they going on these crazy white-hot winning streaks? No, they're not going 28-4. But maybe that is something that also says that the Chicago Cubs team has staying power. Yeah. Like I truly believe that not only are they going to go to the postseason, I think they got a shot against any team that they face in the first round and moving forward. So, you know, I'm taking this a little bit day by day, and I'm looking for incremental progress with certain details and certain players. But on a whole, I would like to see them win tomorrow and at least try and get a 500 road trip, or even 4-2, Justin. 4-2 would be pretty nice, right? Sweep the Rockies and win tomorrow. That'd be.
Let's not forget, we also swept the Angels over the weekend, right? So if we win tomorrow, we are 4-2. Starting from the past weekend against the Angels.
Correct.
And for me, the offense is less of a question mark. Like to me, it's miraculous that the starting pitching has been so good because we've had injuries and other guys step up. When you look at on paper, our offensive players, these are guys with track records, right? Kyle Tucker has always hit. Right, Seiya Suzuki is a damn good hitter, right? PCA has shown these guys have track records. It's just a matter of like them playing to their track records, right? First half of the season, it was great, all good. Again, maybe Colorado is just what we needed at the right time, but offensively, I'm not as worried. It's just time for them to like show me, you know, like I got faith in you guys, but now's the time to like, let's get into gear. We're coming into like the home stretch and let's get hot going into October, because that's all that really matters in this, you know, division wild card. It's who's the hottest going into October, and there's no reason why it can't be the Chicago Cubs.
All right, Marcus Halleman with one more Toyota Super Chat before he goes. He says, let's just take it one day at a time. Let's not talk about sweeping anybody. We need to win tomorrow. That's all. And Tyler says, if we limp into the playoffs playing the way we are now, I think we are the easy out. We will see. We will see. Corey and Brendan will have the podcast for you tomorrow. The Cubs-related podcast will be on for us. And, of course, we will be keeping an eye on the Cubs. If something breaks, if there's a big story, we'll jump in on that. We'll be here on social media. Follow us there. Always check out the YouTube channel, the all-new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. As I say, make sure you subscribe, then tell a friend, tell a neighbor, and then tell a total stranger. That's what we would appreciate the most. Cubs get blasted by the Giants, 12-3. Thanks to our guy Justin Roman for his weekly appearance. Thanks to Joey for making it all the way back from Pittsburgh for the show tonight. Thanks
so
to the
tired.
Cubs for keeping us up nice and late. We are 12:25 in the morning is when we wrap up this show. Thanks to Sarah back home for wrapping up the show for us, and Steven for getting us on the air without an echo tonight. Cubs lose. We'll be back. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota and Bet365. One final note from me. Justin was eating s'mores. I say, and you could take this to the chat and to sleep tonight, I say the cracker is the best part of the s'more. Thanks for checking out the podcast. Until tomorrow, fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.